Long before Halloween became candy and costumes, it was the festival of Samhain, celebrated by the ancient Celts. The night marked the end of harvest and the beginning of darkness. According to old chronicles, Druids believed that during Samhain, the barrier between the living and the dead thinned to almost nothing. Spirits wandered the earth, hungry and vengeful. But what most people don't know is how terrifying the original rituals were. Ancient accounts, though debated, describe bonfires built not just from wood, but fueled by flesh. Some Druids selected victims, sometimes prisoners, sometimes even locals who were accused of dishonor. They were locked inside huge wicker structures shaped like men, and then set ablaze under the night sky. Their screams mixed with the chanting of priests, meant to appease the gods and protect the villages from the restless dead. Locals would smear animal blood on their doors to keep spirits from entering their homes, and some wore grotesque masks of bone and hide, hoping the dead would mistake them for one of their own. The celebration was not about fun, it was about survival, bargaining with forces humans could not control. To this day, many scholars whisper that the modern practice of costumes and jack-o'-lanterns is just a watered-down echo of a night once filled with terror and human sacrifice. The true origin of Halloween is not treats, it's blood and fear. Halloween night wasn't always about candy. In medieval England, there was a darker tradition, soul cakes. Small round pastries, marked with a cross, were baked and given to beggars who knocked on doors. In exchange, they promised to pray for the souls of the dead. Harmless? Not exactly. The beginning. In a small 14th century village, the tradition was strictly enforced. Every All Hallows' Eve, the poor, mostly orphans, roamed from house to house, begging for cakes. Refusing them was dangerous, for it was believed the dead themselves guided the beggars. A prayer not spoken meant a soul trapped in purgatory. One year, during a harsh plague, flour was scarce. A wealthy family decided to bar their doors and refused to hand out cakes. They laughed at the beggars, mocking them, and poured water over the children who pleaded for food. That night, the household heard scratching at the windows, followed by whispers of children crying. The haunting. At midnight, the youngest daughter of the house vanished. Her bed was empty, her sheets damp with strange black stains that smelled of ash. When the family searched outside, they saw her footprints in the mud leading to the church graveyard. They followed, only to find dozens of children, gaunt, pale, with hollow eyes, standing in a circle. At the center was their daughter, holding a half-eaten cake she had never been given. The figures were not living beggars. They were starving souls of the dead, bound to the ritual of soul cakes. They surrounded the family and demanded, in raspy voices, the prayers and food that had been denied. The father tried to run, but the ground gave way beneath him like soft earth, and skeletal hands pulled him under. The curse. By dawn, the wealthy household was gone. Only their daughter's doll remained, sitting on the doorstep with a small cake on its lap. The rest of the village never dared to refuse beggars again. For centuries, the tradition of giving out soul cakes continued, slowly evolving into today's trick-or-treating. But the truth is chilling, the cakes were never for the living. They were a bribe for the dead children who still roam on Halloween night, hungry and hollow. And some say, if you ever slam the door on a trick-or-treater, especially one who looks too pale, too quiet. You might hear scratching at your window after midnight. And the next morning, someone in your house will be missing, replaced with a single burnt cake. Halloween wasn't always a playful night of tricks and costumes. When Christianity spread across Europe, the Church tried to smother the pagan festival of Samhain, renaming it All Hallows' Eve, the night before All Saints' Day. However, what they couldn't erase was the age-old fear rooted in the people's bones. In a remote English village during the 11th century, the Church demanded that no one celebrate Samhain. Instead, villagers were ordered to pray and attend Mass. But that year, a brutal famine plagued the land. Crops withered, animals starved, and desperation grew. On the night of October 31st, despite the priest's warnings, a group of villagers secretly built a Samhain bonfire. They chanted to the old gods, begging them for food, warmth, and survival. The priest discovered this clandestine gathering, and, with fury, cursed them, claiming they had damned their souls forever. But then, something far worse happened. As midnight struck, a black wind howled across the fields. From the smoke of the bonfire emerged figures, with hollow sockets, where eyes should have been. These figures resembled the villagers' own deceased relatives, but they were twisted, skeletal, and starving. In terror, the priest fled to the chapel, locking the doors behind him. By morning, the villagers were gone. Only their belongings remained scattered near the ashes of the fire. Travelers later spoke of phantom figures roaming the village every October 31st, knocking on doors and whispering desperately for food. Some believed that the priest's curse did not save the town, instead, it had bound it to the night forever. Though the Church had renamed the day, the spirits of Samhain refused to leave. That's why, even today, many whisper prayers on Halloween night, while also leaving out treats. It's not just for fun, but as part of an old, unspoken deal: feed the dead, or risk being taken by them.